Have you ever caught yourself making the absolute exact same mistake for the 100th time and just thought, why do I keep ending up here? Seriously, have you ever felt completely trapped in this endless loop of frustration, anxiety, or suffering, and just kind of wondered if there's some invisible mechanism pulling the strings behind the scenes? Well, today, we're going to look at the literal algorithm of our minds. Because it turns out that loop you're feeling, it's not some fundamental flaw in your character. It's actually a precise mechanical process that has been running in the background of your consciousness since day one. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are exploring one of the most profound discoveries in human history, a concept known as dependent origination. Now, I know that sounds like a heavy academic term, right? But trust me, it is anything but abstract. It is quite literally the Buddha's precise map of human psychology and cause and effect. By the end of our time together today, you're going to know exactly what the 12 links of dependent origination are, how they generate absolutely everything you experience, and most importantly, how you can use this map to finally break the cycles that keep you stuck. Okay, let's dive right in. We've got 5 main parts to cover today. Reality as a process, the 3 great movements, the 12 links explained, the water cycle system, and finally, breaking the chain. So part 1, reality as a process. To really grasp what the 12 links are, our first step is to totally challenge our standard, everyday perception of what reality actually is. Most of us walk through life operating on the standard view you see here. We just kind of assume reality is a collection of separate objects, right? Like there's you, there's your phone, there are other people. It's basically a universe of separate nouns just bumping into each other. But the Buddha discovered something radically different. Reality isn't made of objects, it's made of interdependent relationships. It's not static nouns, it's dynamic verbs. The whole thing is a series of processes that arise together. I mean, really think about it for a second. Can you have up without down? Can you have a front without a back? Can you even have a concept of self without an other to contrast it against? No way. These aren't just separate objects that happen to be loosely related. They are literally 2 sides of the exact same coin. They only exist dependently. They arise together or not at all. And that, in a nutshell, is the simplest form of dependent origination. Moving on to part 2, the 3 great movements. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it simplifies the entire human predicament into 3 macro phases, making it so much easier to digest before we hit the full 12 steps. First, there's confusion. That's our basic existential ignorance, our craving and our clinging. This mental cloudiness directly leads to the second movement, actions. We generate karma and we create becoming based purely on that initial confusion. And then finally, those actions generate the third movement, results. This is the actual world we have to live through, Our consciousness, our physical body, our senses, the feelings we endure, and ultimately the whole package of birth, aging, and death. And these 3 movements, they just feed into each other endlessly. All right, part 3, the 12 links explained. With that broad overview in mind, we're ready to look at the actual machine itself, the specific 12 links of dependent origination as detailed in the Avijjapapachaya Sutta. It's totally vital to remember here that the Buddha wasn't teaching vague, cloudy spiritual concepts. He was incredibly analytical. He was basically acting like a master mechanic, popping the hood of human consciousness and pointing to the precise 12 gears that create the experience of suffering. He's diagnosing the engine so you can actually fix it. And here is the full schematic of that engine. This is the 12-link chain running in the background of literally everything we experience, from our most mundane daily thoughts to our deepest moments of crisis. It maps the entire journey from fundamental existential delusion all the way down to aging and death. Every single thought, emotion, and action you have is an output of this algorithm. Let's break this chain down into its sequential parts so we can see exactly how it catches us. It all begins with what we can call the initial cascade. Step 1 is ignorance. But to be clear, this isn't ignorance like, forgetting a historical fact. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a massive existential delusion, a fundamental blind spot regarding the true nature of reality. Because of this blind spot, it immediately kickstarts step 2, karma formations. The delusion of I am drives our intentional actions. These actions gather the momentum of our past, which then conditions step 3, consciousness. And that consciousness, well, it needs a vehicle, which gives us step 4, name and forms, our mental and physical body. So once you have a body and a mind, you inevitably get the sensory experience.
the organism develops the six sense media, so our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and the mind itself. And because we have senses, we inevitably experience contact with the outside world. Light hits the eye, sound hits the ear. And the very microsecond contact occurs, it generates feeling. A pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral tone just arises. Boom. It happens entirely on autopilot.
Let's move forward and see how this builds into the final and definitely most visible phase, the grasping and result. That feeling we just talked about, it instantly triggers craving. We want more of the pleasant feelings and less of the unpleasant ones, right? It's human nature. That craving hardens into clinging, which is an intense attachment. Clinging then conditions becoming, bringing about a totally new state of existence, which inevitably leads to birth, and finally, the unavoidable reality of aging and death. And then, fueled by that exact same ignorance, the whole cycle just starts all over again.
Which brings us to part 4, the water cycle system.
Now, you might be looking at that list of 12 steps and thinking of it as a straight, linear path, right? Kind of like a domino effect from 1 to 12. But we really need to pivot our narrative here. To truly understand dependent origination, we've got to shatter the illusion that this is just a one-way street. In the Upayanati Sutta, the Buddha gives us this brilliant metaphor. He compares the links to the Earth's water cycle. When rain falls on a mountaintop, it fills the hollows, which fill the pools, which fill the streams, rivers, and eventually the ocean. But it doesn't just stop there. The ocean rising causes the rivers to rise, feeding back into the whole system. The 12 links are a vast, dynamic ecosystem of cause and effect, not just a simple linear list. And this brilliantly illustrates the true depth of the teaching. These 12 links are basically micro-feedback loops, running within macro-feedback loops that span all of space-time. Changing one single link affects the entire ecosystem. Because they arise and pass in mutual dependence, it perfectly explains the strong causal relationships of karma. It's literally like throwing a stone in a lake. The ripples affect that specific body of water. The links feed into each other to create the persistent illusion of a permanent self. Finally, part 5, breaking the chain. So we have mapped out the entire machine. We see how it creates the loops we feel trapped in. But this brings us to the ultimate purpose of this explainer. How do we actually stop this machine and end the suffering? Well, the Buddha taught that because this is a dependent system, we can just run it in reverse. You don't have to break all 12 links at once. If you remove the fuel, the engine stops. With the fading away of ignorance, karma formations cease. Without karma formations, that specific conditioned consciousness ceases. As the texts reveal, by winding down the fundamental ignorance of reality, the entire chain reaction loses its power, eventually leading to the total cessation of suffering. Okay, but how do you do that practically in your daily life? Here is the exact tool. The chain runs on autopilot for sure, but you can insert a wedge into it, and that wedge is mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness specifically targets the crucial gap between experiencing a sense, which is contact, and our automatic reaction to it, feeling and craving. By just observing the feeling without immediately craving a different result, you significantly weaken the chain's automatic progression. You're basically catching the algorithm before it executes the next line of code. It's absolutely a real game changer. And as we weaken that chain of suffering, something amazing happens. A totally new chain can emerge. In the Upanishad Sutta, the Buddha describes what's called Transcendental Dependent Origination. This shows that understanding the pain of the cycle actually conditions the steps toward total freedom. The experience of suffering conditions faith. Faith conditions joy. Joy leads to tranquility, which builds concentration. That concentration allows for deep insight, and that insight directly conditions liberation. The pain itself actually conditions the escape route.
So we began all of this by asking why I keep ending up in a loop of suffering. But as we start to see this engine clearly, a profound shift happens. You know, when a monk once asked the Buddha, who owns this karma? Who is suffering? The Buddha just remains silent, eventually just showing him the 12 links. So the crucial point is this: asking who is the wrong question entirely. There is no separate you experiencing the 12 links. There are only the 12 links themselves, arising and passing. When you truly, deeply see this, the illusion of the self collapses, but it doesn't collapse into nothingness. It collapses directly into freedom. So, what are you going to do now that you have the map?